We're back as the USA soccer team is about to step on the field. They're ready to kick the ball off. We decided that we would just complicate your guys' life and go ahead and do a live show at this time. But I know that a lot of you guys are not MMA fans, and we're here for McCarthy Monday. We are finally doing it on an actual Monday, John.
We got it. We got it, baby. We're here.
We finally got it figured out. I was like, there's just no way. Like every time you're gone or I'm gone, or especially during the summer with all the traveling for kids sports, and you've got fights going on, and so sometimes you don't get back until Monday afternoon.
I couldn't do it tomorrow. I'm leaving. I'm on a flight tomorrow. So
where are you headed tomorrow?
Vegas.
It'll be good when you finally make the move back to Vegas.
Yeah, it'll be a whole lot easier as far as travel.
No more plane rides, right?
No more plane rides.
No, but I mean, the miles won't be adding up then. That kind of sucks.
No, they will not. But
I prefer to add the miles up.
I'd prefer not to.
Yeah, see, I guess at my age, I still want to add them up.
Oh, yeah. No.
You know?
I played that game for too long.
Yeah. John, one more week, man, and I'm going to see you in Vegas. We'll be face-to-face.
That's right.
Yeah, one more week. We're at the command class next week. I'm going to be doing the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Is there any other fighters that signed up?
You'll have one of your old teammates there.
Really?
Paul Buentello. He'll be there.
Shut the front door.
Yeah, baby.
Good to catch up with my boy.
Oh, dude.
You got to ask him what used to happen when we sparred. I gotta tell him. Yeah. You got to ask him. Let him know. Let him know.
But there'll be a bunch of people there that you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right.
So you're gonna have fun. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be this thing where you're gonna now go, I know all that.
Yeah, right. I don't even know where I fucking left my keys the other day. Like, let alone remember what happened so long ago.
Yeah.
Look, I know there's not really much going on, no fights over the weekend, but McCarthy Mondays, we're gonna try to keep this on track for McCarthy Mondays. Look, there's some stuff going around with not just the UFC, but the stuff going around with Dustin Poirier. And I wanted to talk on it. I wanted to obviously let everyone know I'm not close with Dustin, but I've trained with Dustin before, as most of you guys know. I just had him on the podcast. His show crushed it.
You're a Dustin fan.
I'm a huge Dustin fan.
I know. That's okay.
You know, and I have yet to find people that are not Dustin fans.
Yeah, it's hard not to like Dustin. Let's be honest.
Exactly.
You know, until you're a police officer and he's drinking.
He's trying to fight you.
Well, it happens.
You know, but look, I want to attack this because he did an interview. It's on what was the name of the podcast? Diary of a CEO, Stephen Bartlett. I thought that he picked the perfect platform to go on. The guy's got he's got over 1 million followers. He's a great interview. He lets you speak, lets you talk, doesn't try to step on you. He's really kind of settles the podcast and just lets him sit there in his moments a little bit of thinking about what happened, what went wrong, and his life. And when I'm watching it, I was getting emotional for Dustin. And the reason why I was getting emotional for him is, John, I felt like he was living my life.
Because you've been there.
The same shit. My parents were very abusive to each other when I was younger. My memories of them, realistically, were the same thing, of the violence between them. You know, like my mom just left here from my house for the week. Like we never had a great relationship. My mom and I, it's to the point where when she left, just the other day, we left on not talking terms. You know what I mean? These are just, we just never had a great relationship. My father and I had a great relationship. We're maybe a little bit reversed. It's like if my stepdad wasn't involved with my mother, I probably wouldn't talk to my mother at all. You know what I mean? It's a really weird thing where my father was my anchor. He was like my, everything to me.
Yeah, it's the same way.
Yeah. And I don't know. I just, everything he said resonated. And the fact that I feel like he's way ahead of the game. He's way ahead of where I was when I got done fighting. And even before I was done fighting, just understanding where he was at. Everything he said made me feel like I had been through all that. There's not alcohol in my house now. Well, I don't have alcohol in my house. And when I was fighting, I wouldn't drink at all during fight camps. I wouldn't drink at all during, even somewhat between fight camps. There would be times where I wouldn't drink. I didn't have alcohol in my house ever. But when I'm a social drinker, that I'm a social drinker. I get around people. I'm like, yeah, this is great. I have a couple of drinks. But the problem with athletes, and let's just not point the finger at MMA guys or combat sports guys. The problem with athletes, if you want to be good at something, you're an addict. If you want to be the best at something, you're an addict. You have to have that addictive personality to be the best at something. And he recognizes that, and he understands that he needs to make those changes. And I love that about him. This whole interview, John, was fucking awesome. I love that he admitted some things. I love what he said about the police officer. I want to apologize to him. He handled it great. The police officer the way he handled my situation was perfect. I don't know how you could walk away from that interview and think to yourself, he's a jerk or he's a scumbag. It's not like he had a moment, a moment.
Josh, name the one among us that has not screwed up. He screwed up. Okay. And he's I always look and say, look, we all screw up, but you have to be a man about it, an adult, and you have to be honest about it. And if you did screw up, sit there and say, you know what? I screwed up. I apologize. I was wrong. And, I know what it's like sometimes to deal with, airlines. And look, this has nothing to do with the alcohol part as far as he shouldn't be drinking on his own. If he's in an airport, if he's drinking with somebody, okay, but it's gotta come to an end. You have to be the one in control. And you're absolutely right about the addiction thing. To be a guy that's a world champion, you have to have addictions. The addiction you have is focused in a good direction, though, when you're going after that world title thing and everything. This is why we say, fighting is a very selfish endeavor. When you're the fighter, you have to be selfish. You have to put you as number one, and what needs to be done has to be number one. And you can't sit there and sometimes say, okay, I'll put my things to the side. It just doesn't work that way, because when you're putting your things to the side to do something for somebody else in these things, and you're giving up on that day that you should be trainers, you can't do that. You've got to put yourself as number one. And I think Dustin's in the position right now where he's figuring it out. He doesn't have the answers, and that's okay. And you've made a statement, that I use now. And it's, I say Josh Thomson always says, man, you got to give up your old life to start your new. And it's so hard, because everything that you are, when people recognize you, all those things is attached to that fight career, and to you stepping into that cage or that ring and putting on performances that people remember. And that speaks about who you are. When you talk about Dustin Poirier, you're talking about those fights like with Dan Hooker, where he's down 2 rounds in a 5-round fight. First 2 rounds go to Dan Hooker. And that dude sucks it up in a way and puts on a performance that it resonates with everybody that sees it. And now they all become Dustin Poirier fans. And so when they see him, they go, I loved your fight against Dan. It becomes who you are. And it's very difficult to figure out what you're going to do after. It's easy to sit there and go, I'm going to retire. I'm the same thing, as look, I knew when I didn't retire this, from officiating. If you remember, I went to Belgium, I just said, no, I'm just taking a break. I didn't want to say I was retired, because I knew I was giving up something that I loved.
Yeah.
And I think Dustin has got to figure out, he's replacing it with certain things. He's trying to do the broadcast thing, and that's great. And I think he's going to do great at it, but it's not coming naturally. It's not something that is, it's not something that he loves in the same fashion as he loves stepping in that cage and going to battle. Yeah. And so, I always look and say, we can all screw up. He screwed up. I'm not going to sit here and say he didn't. He fucked up. But he's man enough to say, I fucked up and I apologize. And once someone does that, I always look and say, man, name the person that hasn't screwed up. If you're that person, then you don't have to accept his apology. But if you have ever screwed up and you've done something that you go, that was dumb. I didn't even realize I was doing it. You got to look and say, man, I'll give you another chance. It's okay. The real thing is when you look at, I always used to say, this is when people would talk about marijuana compared to alcohol and stuff. And I said, dude, I never had anyone on marijuana try to kick my ass. I had a lot of people that were fucking, definitely had too many to drink, intoxicated. They all wanted to kick my ass. Okay. Yeah. And I think, that happened with Dustin. He wasn't able to control it the right way. But eventually, even during the scenario when you watch it, he did some stuff that when you look and you go, come on, man, don't. But at the end of it, when he's cuffed, you can see him, he's kind of like, hey, yeah, man. And
he dabbed him up.
Exactly. And he's settling down and realizing I screwed up.
Yeah.
John,
I don't want to keep trying to relate this to me, but I understand exactly.
No, you've been there. You've walked in those shoes. You walked in those shoes before he did. So you've walked past where he's at and you know what it took to get there.
We have very similar childhoods that I didn't know about until I was listening to this interview. You know what I mean? And just understand, I started drinking when I was like 12, 13, 14 years old. Then I went on the marijuana stint, until probably sophomore year. And then for some reason, when I would smoke marijuana, it would make me sick. So I started doing other things, right? And started drinking more. Just all these things. And then once I found a little bit of, I was wrestling, obviously still a really good wrestler in high school, good wrestler in college. But as I found that wrestling and then I found jiu-jitsu. Once I started doing those things, I started, this is more fun. I'm busy. I'm just going straight to training, and fighting is the therapy. That's that really settled everything. We loved it. It wasn't just the adrenaline rush. It was that calming, soothing feeling when you got done sparring with your buddies. You guys were still friends. It wasn't like I just beat you up and now there's still tension and we're going to do it again next time I see you. No. It was like, I'll see you tomorrow. Can't wait to punch each other in the face again.
Yeah.
Fighting is your therapy.
Because you weren't trying to beat your friend or your training partner. You were trying to get better with them.
Yeah.
And you need each other for that to happen.
Yeah. I've explained to people that when I was younger, I used to fight everybody in the streets, in school. I used to fight everybody.
We talked about that.
Try to fight everybody. Yeah. But as I got better at fighting, I chose, it just felt like, why am I going to fight this guy? Why do I got to fight this guy at a bar who's like 3 or 4, 6, 7, 10 drinks deep, who can barely walk? It's not going to be a competition. You really kind of settled my mind and realized that, man, I don't need to fight these guys. These guys don't stand a chance sober. What am I doing fighting them drunk? And I just love that he recognized that, look, I can't have this happen again. It's not going to happen again. He told his wife, and his wife, Jolie, I think is her name. Yeah. He's like, it can't happen again. And I've always said this, guys, I've been on and off with my wife for a long time. And we had our moments together. We had our moments not together, but what you need is a strong woman who you've been with from the beginning. And then towards the end, and she's been with them from the beginning of middle school.
Oh yeah.
And that is that's the most, I think it's just one of the most things that ease your mind the most is then when you come home, you may be judged a little bit by someone who truly loves you.
Oh, you're going to be judged.
Yeah. But it's also being judged and saying like, hey, I'm judging you because I know what's in you and I know who you are as a person. This ain't you.
There you go.
And that's what makes you love these, I'm sure I know he loves his wife more than anything. We had this conversation when he was, when I trained with him at Frankie Yeager's when he was young, he was like 20 years old, 22 years old. That kid understood how important his wife was then. Yeah. That lets you know how important he looks at her now. And this guy, like I said, I'm getting a little emotional because this guy is such a good kid. And I call him a kid. I know he's 37, 38 years old. He's not a kid, but I look at him as
to me.
Yeah, he's a kid to you. I look at him as a kid because I've seen him when he was younger, train, how hard he worked, everything like that. This guy he's a man. He's a father. He's a family man. Like he has been there for his wife. His wife's been there for him. He's a loving father. Like just, I don't know, everything about him, just understanding that fighting was his therapy. And I understand that once that's gone, It's hard to replace that. No podcast can do that.
No.
No working at the desk can do that.
Nope.
It's a good supplement for that time frame,
it's
but
a good supplement while you're doing it.
yes.
But that's a short little period of the day.
Yeah.
And so it's what you do with your time and all those other hours that are out there.
Yeah.
And the one thing you're saying is that, look, I know Dustin is disappointed in himself over what occurred. And I know he is absolutely crushed to disappoint his wife.
Absolutely.
And his family. And that is the catalyst for you to move forward. You've got to be honest about it.
John, you got to understand. I want everyone to understand this at home too, that's listening. You guys have to understand, to have a strong woman to tell you like, hey, this can't happen again. I've had friends that were on the hype train. They were on a come up and they were good fighters, and they were with these girls that just didn't give a shit. They just wanted to go to events. And you could see it. They couldn't see it. The fighter couldn't see it.
No.
But you could see it as a fighter from the outside going like, I've seen those type of women. And knowing that he's got a strong woman to tell him like, hey, we've been through too much together since middle school. Now we're here, 2 kids, beautiful family. Like, that's a lot.
Yeah. Look at what we've created.
Yes.
And do you want to destroy that with this? Come on.
And
you're above that.
My personal opinion is that I felt like he did something on this podcast, The Diary of a CEO. He did something on this podcast that let the world know exactly who he is. No one knew people understood his childhood a little bit. Like, there was maybe little clippings about what, from his father to his mother to his family and how he grew up in Louisiana and all these things. DC used to talk about it a little bit too, throw it out there about DC on the broadcast, about Dustin in the broadcast. But this was the first time he opened up, and it just felt so special. And I felt very vulnerable. You got to see the real Dustin Poirier. Like, he's always just been someone like kind of keeps it close. He'll talk about it here and there, but he doesn't give you too much context of it. This couldn't have been a better podcast. You let him sit there in his moments of thought and let him understand like, hey, I messed up. He knew he messed up. There was one thing that kind of, I wouldn't say bothered me, but he's like, I don't want to watch back the video. He's got friends telling him what happened. He's got family telling his wife, telling him what happened. But I think someone who has been through something similar, not arrested because of it, but because I lived in San Jose, the cops are like, hey, Josh, come have someone come pick you up. We'll be here waiting for them. Da, da, da. Like, I've had those moments. Sit down on the curb until your ride gets you. Like, give me your keys. When the person comes, I'll give them the keys. Like, those kind of things. Mm-hmm. I've been through those in San Jose. Because I'm from San Jose, I got away with this. Is an airport.
To walk away through it.
They don't play around at the airport.
No,
they don't give a shit who you are. Like I've had one of those moments almost as well at the airport. By the way,
as we all have. The airport,
because
the airport can be a place that can absolutely fry you because you feel like you're being treated unfairly.
Yeah,
even though he wasn't, because he was intoxicated. The person behind the counter was right in saying, I can't let you on the plane.
Yeah, it comes down to like, they don't want that type of episode to happen on the plane because then that becomes a big problem.
Absolutely.
And that's very understandable. But I just would like him to go back and watch it. Maybe when the dust settles. I think the best part of healing and recovering is just understanding like, this is what really happened. He's piecing it together right now with people talking about the video and people, but he's disconnected from his social media. I sent him a message, basically saying like, hey man, I've been here. I know exactly what you're going through, and if you need anyone, I'm here. Just even if you want someone to yell at, like even if you want someone to yell at, I'm here. Like I don't even need to say shit. Just be on the phone and be like, man, this is what happened. This is like whatever it is. But I feel like he needs to watch it back.
I don't think he does. I'm being honest. I understand what you're saying, but there comes that point where his wife has told him what occurred.
Yeah.
And with that, he's embarrassed by what she's told him. And he says, I don't even need to see it because if just seeing it is not going to do me any good, I need to start doing things to move forward from it. And like, this is everything with I don't give a damn what it is. Everybody can make a mistake. We make a mistake, Sometimes it's no big deal. Sometimes we make a mistake. It's a big deal, but we're all human and we're going to make mistakes. Your ability to make the mistake, and you're going to hear this next week when we're together. The ability to make the mistake is human. The ability to lie about it is evil. Don't let that evil come in. And you've got to be able to say, you know what? I screwed up. I made the mistake. Why did the mistake happen? Okay, I know why it happened. Let me fix that, and let me make sure that I don't repeat that again. And I think that's where he's at. And does he have to see it? Not really. He lived it, and he's been told by the one person that's going to be the most honest with him about it. He doesn't have to see it.
I think you're right. Yeah. I retract my comment.
Okay.
He doesn't need to see it. That's the biggest thing. You hit the nail on the head. The wife, his wife, I think her name is Jolie. She told him. Yeah. That's all that matters. Right?
Who are you going to trust? Who is he going to trust more? That woman, you've seen her just throughout his, fight career. She is all about him. All about him. And, she's going to tell him straight out. It's no different than, your wife. My wife. My wife is my worst critic. Yeah. But that's okay. I take that and I use that because I know that she's going to put it out there with honesty and telling me the truth of, what? No, you screwed up here. And I hate to admit it when she says it. And I go, okay, you're right.
There's a couple notes that I made here. It says, leaving any pro sport. Let's not make this about combat sports. Let's not make this about MMA. Leaving any pro sport is scary. And they're filling a void. And let me just give you guys this. Is merging vets and players, which Jay Glazer used to do, right? Yep. He would host this at his gym in Hollywood, or I think in LA area, right? Unbreakable. And he would host platforms for pro athletes, pro football players, pro
Randy
skiers.
Couture has that at Extreme Couture. He does the same thing for him. Yep.
You know what I mean? So you're merging vets who are going through some of this withdrawal from being in the military, being sent overseas. And
what's the one common denominator here, Josh?
It's adrenaline.
It's not even that. Okay. It's camaraderie.
Yeah, that's true as well.
It's a camaraderie, whether you're in the military, whether you are a fighter with a team. Think about, I said, Paul Bontello is going to be there. Oh, goddamn right. Yeah. I can't wait to see it. Just right there. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about, is there's a camaraderie when you are part of something, be it a police department, be it military, be it a football team, a baseball team, a basketball team, a fight camp. You can't really describe what that does for you, but there's a bond there between those people because they go through the same things that you're going through, and they understand the things that, make this difficult and how hard we have to work towards something. And then success comes and they are just as happy for you as they are if it was for them. Yeah. And that kind of camaraderie is special. And as soon as you decide to leave the military or leave, whatever professional sport you're in, it goes away right now. It's gone. And it's something that you just don't have that same connection with people on the outside that you had with those people doing what you do and what has made you who you are. And it's something you've got to learn you got to replace it. And again, you've got to give up that old person to create the new one.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Because another note that I've taken talking about that is that you have to give up that old person to create a new one. And part of that is he's looking at the TV going I've beaten Justin Gaethje. He's the champ now.
Yeah.
And that's I'm not saying he can't go back, because he can. He's still training. He's still in the gym. He's still lifting. He's still getting, maybe you have to go to 170 because he's looking a little yoked. But
hey, you can do that right now.
He's looking a little thick right now.
That's okay. He is a little thick. I saw him. I go, Dustin's becoming a bodybuilder.
Yeah. But
all right.
What I loved was you can look at all those guys, but he said it, he hit the nail on the head. Even at 60, we're going to still look at that. I'm 48 now, 47, 48 years old. I'm still looking back, John, going I can beat Nate Diaz. He's still fighting all the time. Maybe I can, maybe I can't. Yeah. But John, there's probably a good chance that I can't. You understand what I'm saying? But he said, I'm not sure if I'll feel that way at 60. You will.
Yeah.
You will.
I can tell you will.
There's guys like Don Fry, right? I mean, he's out there still kind of getting in fights at fucking events. You see him every once in a while. He'll talk shit to young guys because that's who he is.
Yeah.
Now, Dustin's not that guy that will talk shit to everyone. But the point is, though, is that doesn't go away. So you have to step away from it completely. Now, I'm not saying you need to step away from being an analyst and a podcaster and talk about the sport. No, I think you should stay in all that.
Yeah.
Because your relationships are too strong and everything you've done, you should not step away from it. One of my biggest regrets was that, and I talked about this on the Dominic Cruz podcast, was I stopped going to AKA after I was done fighting because I was like, but I should have kept going. I should have just not sparred, just went and still grappled, still trained, still stayed. I should have done that because that would have kept me more focused. Because I went through this phase literally like 6 months, 8 months after where I was drinking during the day. I never drank during the day because I had nothing to do. Everyone was at work. You know, I would find ways to have cocktails with friends that had lunch breaks on a Thursday, Friday. You know what I mean? Like, hey, what are you guys doing Thursday? Let's go meet at Mastro's and have cocktails at noon because I knew you were working a half day on Thursday. Yeah. I've been exactly where he is right now.
Yeah.
And so when he said, like, I'm 38 years old, look, it only took me a couple of years to get really good at fighting. And my talk to him is that it only took you a couple of years to get good at fighting. It's only going to take you a year or two to get really good at something else. And I said that on the first Joe Rogan podcast.
That's right.
That's something that always stuck with me because I learned that I was listening to Gary Vaynerchuk or whatever his last name is. And I talked about it on Rogan. I said, man, I go like, it only takes you a year or two to get really good at something. You spend that year or two, you can be really good at anything you put your mind to. We were really good at fighting in a short period of time. And if anyone can do it, Dustin Poirier can. And so I look at him, I think to myself, like, but you've got to find what it is that you want to do.
That's the whole.
That's the hard part. Because John, I'm even though I've been retired for years, right? I was doing the analyst work, but I was still stuck in this limbo of like not knowing what I wanted to do. Do I do something else? And then Bellator went away. That was a big cash flow. So then we're reinventing this whole thing of like you and I were doing the podcast. Luckily, we were able to have sponsors that came in the Fed, but we lost some sponsors. And during, the 2020 COVID situation, we kind of lost them towards the end and it just became a problem. So he's in a good position with the UFC. He's in a good position. They will not drop him for this. You could tell it's instant.
No,
this is not something that Dana's like, hey, I'm going to drop because of this. He made a mistake. And he's been a diehard, I wouldn't say company guy, but he's been a diehard, just a good person for the company.
Been a good company guy.
Yeah. I don't want to sell him short and be like, yeah, you're a company man. It just does.
He's been good for the UFC. Absolutely. They've been good to him. I'm not,
absolutely.
It goes both ways, but he took fights when, he didn't have to because it was good for the company. That's being a good company man. As far as you're trying to help them out, they're trying to help you out. It's, symbiotic. That's the word, right? That's what you're looking for. And you want it to be where you want them to want you. And I think the UFC does want Dustin. And it's an incident. It was absolutely wrong on his part. I'm not going to sit there and, say, oh, he didn't really do anything. No, he not only did things wrong, he said things that were wrong. He made motions that were wrong. He could have had people escalate that into a situation that really could have caused, because if someone did become start to use force against him, well, we'll say they tased him. Dustin's strong enough to where I've been tased way too many times for anyone to understand. There's ways of beating it, and Dustin's got a strong enough mind. He's going to end up getting himself through it to a point. He's going to start fighting, and then bad things are going to happen. Because the police officers, even if they're trained well and they're doing the right things of going to class and doing things, he's a professional fighter. He's going to be a fucking handful.
Yeah.
And he's going to do damage. And that is only going to now create what? This, it only takes one stupid thing in your life to change your life forever. And I think Dustin got off of this actually pretty well. And now the way he's handling it is absolutely the way he should. He's being a man about it. He's saying, I apologize. I want to talk to the police officer and tell him, hey, thank you. Everything he's doing, At this moment, you couldn't ask for anything more.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to make him, make it through this. No problem. I don't think he's going to end up having any problem with the UFC. But the one thing that he does have to do is he has to figure out, what is it that I want? What is going to make me happy? Because he's got to find that thing to replace Dustin Poirier, the diamond, the fighter, with Dustin Poirier, the man.
John, the thing that makes me the most happy, you already know this, is the time I spend with my kids.
Hello.
And it's it's so difficult. Like he said, I'm here making eggs one morning for my kids, going like, man, what am I doing? That's what you're doing.
You're making eggs for your kids.
Yeah.
You know why? Because your kids need it, right? And that's important.
My nephew was just with me, and for this, when my mom was visiting. He's 15 years old. He's never made eggs, never made French toast. No one ever taught him. Doesn't know how to cut bacon with a fork. Doesn't know how to cut sausage with a fork. Like, I'm like, no one's ever taught him. And those are things to me that resonate. He'd never been fishing. Caught his first fish while he was here at my house. We took him fishing. Didn't know how to cast a line. Kellen taught him how to cast a line. Kellen taught him how to reel it. My son is teaching his older cousin how to do certain things. And it's a reality check of like, Dustin, that is what you're doing. There's no greater goal in life, no greater purpose in life than sharing your knowledge, whatever it is, with your kids and with other people as well. Like, John, I love teaching. I like part of me is like, I want to open another gym here. As much as we hate gyms, I don't need gyms. Part of me wants to do it just because I don't know. There's a void in me that feels like I should be sharing all the knowledge that I have. And I love being around. I don't even want to teach adults. They're fucking pains in the asses. I want to teach, kids, because just seeing them light up and seeing them, my nephew catching his first fish, watching his face, he didn't know what to do. He was reeling and the fish is pulling. It's going zzz, nothing's happening, but he didn't care.
Did neutral.
You know what I mean? He didn't care, but that's what you're doing. Like, if I could talk to him about it, because here's the thing. He said, I haven't talked to other fighters about how they've gotten over it, and what did they do? He's like, I probably should. And that was something in my mind, I'm like, yes, you should. Give me a call. Not just me, anybody, whether it's Frankie Edgar, whether it's myself, whether it's other guys that you're close with. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be me. I'm just simply saying, like, give us a call, because we're still all trying to figure it out ourselves. It doesn't just go away. Like, you don't just pick something up and go like, okay, I'm in. You have to go through the process. Like, right now I'm in the process of getting my real estate license.
But you don't know if you're when you're in that position, you feel like you're all alone. You feel like you're the only one that feels this way.
Yeah.
And you're not.
Yeah.
You're absolutely not alone, man. You're not the only one. And other guys have been in that box long before you put your feet in there, and they can help you. And he does. He needs to reach out and just talk to people.
Yeah.
And again, he's got to, you got to have purpose in life, and if you don't have, that's, look, let's me with the podcast, when I went to you and said, hey, brother, I got to go and I got to do what's going to make me happy here. And it's because I didn't have any purpose. I was, I never left, the farm, and it was like, it just wasn't happy with who I was and what I was doing. And you got to be able to say and be honest about it and say, okay, what is it that's going to make me happy? What can I do to, switch this around and hopefully not only benefit me, but benefit other people with it. And Dustin can do that.
Yeah. I agree. I'm going to leave you guys on this, though, on this topic, is that like one bad thing doesn't change all the good things that he's done. Oh. Think about all the money he's raised for charities. Think about all the influences he's been for young men, all of these things. Oh. And so I had Johnny Eblin on the show just the other day. It hasn't dropped yet. It'll drop this week. But I had to ask him, I'm like, talk to me about Dustin, and he's like, look, he made a mistake. He's like, we've all been there. And I even pointed out, I go, I've had problems in the airport myself. They didn't get blown up like this because I'm not a name like Dustin is. It got blown up even more because of who he is and what he's achieved in his life. That's not an excuse. I'm just simply saying that, like, he has done so many good things for other people. And by raising so much money for charities, let's not put him into a box because he made one mistake. And obviously, look, I lost my father at a young age. I think about him every Father's Day. And in my mind, I'm thinking like, man, this is a shitty day. and him, he's going through the same shit right now with his dad. And like he said, it's not an excuse. He's like, I should have known better. I do know better. It's true. Like everyone's got these little demons that we're all battling. John, I know you do. I know,
Yep.
you know, I do.
Yep.
There's a lot of things going on in our lives that, you know, I'm not going to pigeonhole him or put him into a box and be like, hey, oh, you fucked up. Let's take it all away. No, that's just not who I am, man. That's not who I am. And I don't think he deserves that. He's such a great person, a great individual. He's got a loving family, a beautiful family. And I wish him nothing but success. And I hope he does reach out to anybody that's retired or people he looks up to and has a moment to chat with them and get to talk to them about, you know, hey, how did you get past this? What did you do? You know, and I can tell you this though, Dustin, don't open the gym. Okay. Talking about that'll stress you out.
It'll stress you out. That's it.
But I'm going to wrap it on that. And let's talk about fights, man. We've got a big fight card coming up this weekend and some great matchups, some damn good matchups. But obviously, let's talk about the main event. There's a lot of people saying they're giving Conor a chance. Do you give Conor a chance?
Absolutely. You can.
Do you really though, John?
I do.
Okay.
And you have to, because there's too much that's there. Now you got to quantify it with, you know, was Conor McGregor a great fighter? Yeah. Did he had some of the most impressive performances you could think about. You know, when he won the belt at 145, that was you know, I'm not talking about the intern. Let's talk about he beat Aldo. He did it in 14 seconds. Okay. He goes out and he put on one of the greatest performances by a person as far as against someone that I know is a great fighter in Eddie Alvarez. And he put on a performance where Eddie couldn't touch him.
Yeah.
And he just couldn't miss against Eddie. And you just look and you go, I don't think I've seen such a dominant performance by someone coming up a weight class and taking on someone that's the champ and just, I mean, annihilating him in that fight. It was, you know, from the very beginning. And so that guy is still around. Now, that guy now has mileage on him. And that guy now has, you know, a different weight class and things like that. And the worst part of it is the guy that he's going to fight. You know, let's just be honest. Max Holloway is a fighter. He is a warrior. He is a guy that will go out and sling with anyone. And he has fought the very best competition out there. I always look, and, you know, Dustin Poirier is one of those guys that I look at and say, look at the list of people that man fought, just one after the other. You know, all champions at a certain point, or former champions, one after the other. Never got an easy fight. You know, and even when it was, you know, oh, they're going to give him what considered, you know, the up and comer. That wasn't an easy fight, because, you know, the reason they gave him Saint Denis when they did was because they were going to say, okay, we're going to see if we can make a name on, you know, off of your back with Saint Denis, or you're going to just stay where you're at. Great. But Max Holloway has that same, you know, he has that same reputation. He has that same, you know, I don't want to say, his record is absolutely impressive of who he's fought, how many times he's fought him, and the outcomes of those. So you look and you go, you know, do I think Conor has a chance? Yes, I do think he has a chance, especially early in the fight. I think he's going to have power on his side. I think that the size, you know, he's going to be a bigger fighter. He's not, you know, structurally, as far as, you know, his height and everything, that's the same. But he's going to be the bigger, stronger fighter in the beginning. But I think as time goes on in the fight, you know, his chances start to wane compared to Max's chances. And the longer the fight goes on, in my opinion, the better it is for Max. Max has got to put up with the first round. He's got to get through the first round. You know, don't take the big shots, be in and out, do those things that are going to give Conor a problem with range and distance and his timing, and make it to where it's not easy for him. But if Conor can, you know, match, you know, and to say match is kind of crazy, but if he can come close to the type of performance he had against Eddie Alvarez in the first round of their fight, look, he can beat anybody. He's that, you know, he's talented, and he does have certain things that make him incredibly difficult to fight. It's a matter of how much has time eroded what we all knew was there, you know, back when he fought Alvarez.
John, this is a stacked card. And the fact they've got Max and Conor at the top, and then you've got great fights below it. I mean, this whole card is stacked. But for me, Conor McGregor, he's got the power. I think he carries the weight a little bit better than Max will carry the weight.
It's been on him longer.
Yeah, you and I have always had this conversation about Max Holloway going to 55 the first time.
Yeah.
Wasn't the Max we saw the second time he went up.
No.
Because he took the time to put the weight on.
Did it differently.
He didn't have the time to put the weight on. Will we see a 55 first time Max going to 70, which I think we will. He'll be a little bit more hesitant. The shots will hit a little bit harder. I don't know if he's ready for that. Like you saw him in that first fight with Dustin Poirier at 155. Yeah. He wasn't taking those shots as well as he was at 45. But the second time around when he fought Justin Gaethje, he was taking the shots and delivering a lot more shots, lighter on his toes, faster with his hands, all of those things.
Put him against Dustin Poirier the second, not the second time, it would be the third time.
Yeah.
But, their last fight, look at the difference in the way he was able to handle just the same elements. He just handled them differently. And that's because he was truly a 155-pound fighter at that point. He had put on the weight properly, and you could see the difference in the way he handled himself.
Yeah, Max is not a true 170. Conor,
no. I don't think Conor's a true 170.
I don't think so either, but I think he carries the weight a little bit better than Max does. Now, I think where Max has the advantage, obviously, just he's been a lot more active over the last 5 years. I mean, that right there. But he's also got more miles on himself, though, because of that.
I don't think so. I really don't. And why I'm saying that is mileage is put on in a lot of ways. Okay. And I think Conor will admit that he's had, a lot of things happening in his life that were not beneficial to him, being at a quality that we would want to see him at throughout his life.
Yeah.
And I think he's trying to, make amends with those things, and he's trying to change that all up, and God bless him. I hope it happens for him. But, Max being in fights, yes, some of that damage, the knockout from Topuria, things like that, those are pieces of him that are, that are going to always have a little bit missing. But Conor did it to himself in a lot of ways too, where he's got parts of him missing.
Yeah.
So
that's true as well. And I think the mileage that Conor probably put on himself does a lot more to affect the actual body and strength of the body. Whereas Max has been consistently building up his strength, getting bigger, getting stronger, also getting a little bit older. But in terms of I don't think he's not older than Conor though.
No, he's younger.
Yeah, he's younger. So, I mean, ultimately, look, I'm going with the Max. I think a lot of people are, but I also look at it as his output will be difficult for Conor, especially the longer the fight goes on. You've got a 38-year-old, Conor McGregor, a 37, 38-year-old Conor McGregor, who's trying to keep up with Max, who's been fighting the best guys, has such a high output, so much volume, and the relaxation he can fight with because he doesn't have to worry about being taken down. Conor McGregor, if he shoots, it's because he's in trouble, because he's been rocked, because like the Nate Diaz fight. If he ends up shooting a double leg, it's because he's like, damn, I just got in trouble, and now I've got to. And how much of his chin will be affected because of all the things he's done over the last 4 or 5 years? Those are more questions. There's a question mark over that. Max Holloway, the speed, I think, will go to him. The power will go to Conor, but the movement and the mobility and the punch output is going to be all Max Holloway. And
not in the beginning. Not in the beginning.
The punch output
will, but the movement. I think Conor's going to control the movement in the beginning of the fight
because of his power.
Yes.
Yeah. But I think Max is going to try to take this in. I don't think he cares if he gives up the first round. I think he's going to be relaxed and be like, look, I'll win rounds 2, I'll win rounds 3, and then I'll move on from there. Even if I lose round 2, 3, 4, and 5 are mine. He's got to be busy enough in the first 2 rounds. Also, I think we'll see Max kick a little bit more, knowing that he's not going to try to take me down, knowing that hey, how's that leg? And can I get in there and start to damage that leg a little bit? And also to fill out to see if Conor will kick back. If I kick you first, will you kick me back? So we're going to find out. But I think this is one of those fights, John, that has so many people wondering, what Conor McGregor will we see? And the one of the things I wanted to ask you, though, is not even so much about the fight. is where does Conor go from here? He's got 2 fights left on his contract. We talked about this last week with JMO. Those of you guys don't know who JMO is, we just created that name. His name's John Morgan. Okay, we did a show last week. It was great. We talked about this because there was no fights over the weekend. But where does he go from here? And you and I threw out some names, and John Morgan threw out some names as well. But I want to throw another name out there after if he does win this fight. If he wins this fight, or even if he loses this fight, but I would say if he wins this fight, there is no bigger matchup to make than him and Paddy Pimblett.
I agree with that.
Paddy Pimblett wins this fight and Conor McGregor wins this fight, on his last fight, there is no greater matchup to make that does bigger numbers between Conor and Paddy Pimblett.
But at what weight?
I don't know. I think Paddy would go up to fight him at 170. I think he would. Paddy walks around 250.
Oh,
I'm kidding, obviously, you guys. I'm kidding.
Close. So some of the times when you've seen him, it's like,
jeez,
he's way up there.
Yeah, he is. But I think
there
is no bigger fight.
I think it's a great fight. It really is. And we've talked about that fight in the past that we thought it would be a great fight. And I don't care. People sit there and say what they want. There's certain people that no matter what, Khabib was undefeated. So there's always that thing, if Khabib came back, do you think people would tune in? Of course. Why? Because he's special.
Yeah.
He's special in a lot of ways. He's special in the cage, the way he goes about doing things. He's special on the outside, the way he does things. He's just special. Well, Conor's the same thing. They don't get along. Okay. Because, they have differences in the way they look at life and, things, but they're both special. And it doesn't matter who you put Conor against. People are going to tune in. Absolutely. And I think that, the UFC as a whole, I think they're going to have a hard time holding on to Conor as far as re-signing him. It's a possibility, but I think he's going to look at it like, Conor does look at the dollar signs. That's okay. That's what he does this for. And he has been incredibly successful in making those dollar signs grow for a lot of his career. Now, he's done a lot of dumb things that have taken some of those dollar signs away. And, I think he's learned from some of those things. But if he goes and goes out on the market, I think the Ronda Rousey, thing, what she did with Gina, Ronda was one of the big sellers for the UFC. Who was a bigger seller? Conor. What do you think that he can do? Netflix calls, or he calls them, his management calls him, Audi calls him, or whatever. Man, he can be in control of his destiny and have, a huge impact on a show. I'm not saying it's going to change the sport. It's not going to change the fact that wherever he goes, it can be bigger than the UFC. It's not. But for that moment, that show, it will be. Because he has that X factor. He has the it, and people want to see it. And it doesn't matter if he wins this fight or loses the next two. He's still going to have that because he can talk his way through things. And there's all kinds of guys that can talk. And Chael is one of those guys that could really talk, but he talks in rhymes and rhythms and pro wrestling type. Conor doesn't talk in pro wrestling shtick. He talks in everyday language that people bite into and go, oh my God, did you hear that? Even if it's, who the fuck is that guy? Or, I'm not here to take part. I'm here to take over. Those kind of things, they resonate with people. And he will forever have people wanting to see his next move based upon what he has done in the UFC.
Yeah, I feel like there's a couple fights for him. You got Paddy, I think would be the number one fight for him because they can build Paddy if Paddy does win. They can be like, hey, this is huge. Paddy's going to be around for another 8 years.
Yeah,
that's the hopes probably. And if Conor does win, then maybe you keep him at 7 and you say, hey, the Islam fight is the number 2 next fight. I don't think he wins that fight, but we also don't want him leaving on a victory. And he give him Islam. There's a huge storyline there. But do they say there's just too much of a storyline? It's like could be a problem. Could be a problem when it comes inside the stadium. It could be a problem. Like all of these things could end up hurting the sport more so than helping. You're bringing
a whole lot. If it go back to when he fought Khabib, look at the ending of that show. and everything. I mean, that's something the UFC wants to stay far away from.
Yeah, but they use those clips of
course they do. Come on, man. It's like
the bus. Remember? Oh, we hate that. It's disgusting. But it's in every highlight package.
Here comes another hand truck into the window, right? But the whole thing that happened with him, the marketing is there, and and Habib will be in Islam's corner.
Mm-hmm.
And so everything builds itself to that whole thing. And that Conor's going to, shoot shots at Habib, if that fight ever did. So the real question you got to look at and say is, on the pay-per-view scale, I would understand why they would do it.
Mm-hmm.
It would be huge. On the Paramount Plus, where there isn't that pay-per-view, does it work to their advantage? I'm not too sure it does.
Absolutely it does.
Do you think so?
New subscribers.
Okay.
You're gonna have I think you would garner another 250,000 new subscribers.
Then I think Paramount Plus is saying, I think you need to do this fight.
Yeah. And I think the Paddy fight and him, because from what I understand, they're gonna have Paramount will start reaching out to other countries now about getting out there. So if they can do that, they can start. I think Canada next year will be able to start watching it as well. So there's going to be, I don't know all the other countries that are involved in Paramount Plus or Paramount, but I think if they can get that arm's length out there to other countries, this will definitely get that fight. And Conor's already come out publicly and said, I already have the date for the second fight, which is sometime next year, like April, May, somewhere around there. And he's like, I don't know why it's so far. Well, because they know it's your last fight. They want to drag you out as possible so they can use you for marketing as long as they possibly can. But I do think that Paramount would benefit tremendously by having Conor McGregor on there against somebody like a Paddy Pimblett. If you're gonna tap into the UK market or in that European market, to get Paramount over there as well. That's one. Two is you do Islam Makhachev. That's just because there's such a storyline. Doesn't matter. You can grow your Paramount Plus in any country because of those two people, if you have Conor and Islam. And then the last fight, and I think because it would be such a great fight, would be Justin Gaethje being the champion. I don't know you give him a title shot because he beat Max, but beating Max though, John, Max is number two or he's right there as well.
Look, if he beats Max, it sets up the whole thing for Justin.
Yeah.
Because Max beat Justin. And then, this is A beats B, B beats C. And then so it's the question
of the way that Max beat him.
Sure.
The way that Max beat Justin. And will Conor go to 70 though? Or not 70, but 55.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They're fighting at 70. So does it really equate? Does the UFC recognize that as being, hey, this fight was at 70. Sure, you guys won. Conor won. Do we put you at 55 now for a title shot against Justin? Justin would, I think, love that fight. It'd be a great stylistic matchup for him as well. So I think, look, it's a good problem for Conor to have with a win.
No, he's got to get the win, though.
Yeah, he's got to get the win. With a loss, I don't know what they do with him, to be honest. I know they fight him, obviously, because they're gonna soak that last little bit out of him. Sure. What do they do with him? And does he stay at 70 or does he go to 55? What do they do? Who knows?
All you can do is go off of, basically the playbook that you've seen time and time again. When you get, and I'm going to say it's an older star because Conor's getting up there now. You get the older star, they start to look towards, okay, who can we use, to lift up with this fighter's name? If I can get this young fighter a win over, we'll say Conor, that's going to elevate my younger fighter that I have under contract. That's, people are going to now be able to know that, hey, he fought Conor McGregor and he beat Conor McGregor. That's what they're looking for. They're not looking to give Conor, an easy fight. They're not looking to give Conor a win as he's walking out the door. That's just not the way the playbook works. And I'm not saying that for the UFC. That's just promotion.
Yeah.
That's all promoters. Promoters are not into, I'm going to give you an easy fight so you get a win and you can go somewhere else.
Yeah. Like we said last week, though, the one guy that's in this whole limbo is Arman Sarukian. But Arman seems to be almost part owner. He is almost part owner of Roth Wrestling right now.
You talk about rewriting your storyline.
Yeah.
He has done an absolutely incredible job. I talked to him, at the Ronda fight, and I said, man, just keep doing what you're doing. It's awesome. And he goes, "Thank you, brother." We were talking, and I was being as honest as I could, man. You have absolutely, just done 180 degree as far as the way people are looking at you. Absolutely. It's fantastic. Keep it up.
I don't know if I told you this, but maybe I did. It felt good when my son I was able to ask him a couple questions at the Roth Wrestling. And he's like, "Hey,"
as a reporter.
Yeah, as a reporter. He got to ask him as a reporter, which was awesome. But what part of it was great was after he got done, he pulled my son aside and he goes, "Hey, your father's a legend." And it made me feel good. Like those little moments when the young guys kind of recognize the old guys, it does feel good. So there's a lot of great fights on this card though, John, and I'm excited for this card. You got Paddy Pimblett versus BSD, and we're going to talk about that obviously coming up here in a sec. Saturday mornings used to mean coffee and sidelines. Now it's game time for all of us. We're running drills, chasing goals, and trying to keep up with each other. Soccer, lacrosse, doesn't matter. What matters is we're doing it together. But here's the thing I didn't expect. Training with your kids, it hits different. You sweat more, you push harder. If you're not careful, you could burn yourself out. That's why I started bringing Element. No sugar, no junk, just electrolytes. Sodium, potassium, magnesium, so you can stay sharp, stay moving, and stay in the game. Because when your kids look over and say, "Come on, Dad, keep up," you don't want to sit this one out. You want to be right there with them. Hydration isn't just about performance. It's about showing up. For them, for yourself, for moments like this. Element.
Stay salty.
The little one, she's at the end. Those are my kids, guys.
Stay salty.
Stay salty, my friends. We've got Lazy Bed's got a question for you. Big John says, "Big John, any updates on Mark Smith? Wish him well."
Mark Smith is doing very well. He had surgery on his Achilles tendon. I've had that same thing done. It sucks, and so I know what he's gone through. But he really attacked his physical therapy because he's trying to get himself back. He was at the White House. He was the replay official during the White House show, so he's kind of got himself back. I've talked to him multiple times throughout this whole thing, and he's got a really good outlook on it, and he's going to be coming back and doing well. So I would say, give him a couple more months because you got to be able to push off of that thing and not even think about it. And he's done all the right things, so he's going to be back soon.
And then Daja Cow says, "Do you think Conor will want to cut to 55 at his age?" I don't think he'll want to cut there, but look, it really comes down to what does the biggest numbers, and obviously they'll adjust his pay based on that. And if he's going to go down and fight for the title against Justin Gaethje, they're going to have a longer-term contract in place. That's one. Two is they're going to have to substantially pay him probably more to fight for the title. That's one, and they're not going to let him fight for the title on his last fight out. I threw out Justin Gaethje because we all know that would be a damn good fight. Justin's not going to wrestle. Conor's not going to wrestle. The two of them are going to exchange. The press conference leading up to it will be fucking exciting as hell. Everything about it. We're going to see basically Justin Gaethje, Ilia Topuria 2.0 if it comes to Conor McGregor and him. So I think because of the way that Justin won his fight at the White House and so much publicity that he's gotten from the way he got it done and all the hype that was around Ilia Topuria leading up to that, it only would make sense to have him see if he could do it to the Conor, the real Conor, versus not the one that everyone can compare Ilia Topuria to Conor. I think that would be a fantastic matchup, and I would love to see it. But if I am Paramount Plus, I am leaning towards Paddy and Islam if I had to choose between the two. And it has nothing to do with Justin, and it just only has to do with that UK market. If I'm trying to spread Paramount Plus into the UK market and into Europe, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to build that up with Conor and Paddy if that's available. If it's not, then I also still try to do that with Islam and Conor as well. There's such a storyline there that you could run all day with that thing. Yeah. The Justin one, I would say that's probably my third pick, but it's only my third pick only based on the fact that I know if I'm Paramount, I'm leaning that way to grow my brand. The Justin Gaethje fight for me, I'm just a selfish person. I want to see a really damn good fight. Yeah. So to me, that'd be a fun fight.
It'd be a great fight. I do look at, he says that he knows the date of his second fight. And if he does get the win and gets a shot at that 155, at least it will give him time to properly start to cut himself down.
True.
And get himself there. So there is a positive to it.
I threw out the Paddy Pimblett, but let me just tell you this. Look, Paddy's got his hands full coming up with BSD.
Yes, he does.
He's got to get a win for this to happen.
Yeah. The real question is going to be on the ground, because it's going to end up there. You know, Benoit Saint Denis he's going to try to take Paddy down. The real question is, how does he do on the ground with Paddy? Because I look at it, there's going to be, Soren Buck. Remember him?
Yeah.
Good wrestler, very much, definitely not the explosive fighter that Saint Denis is, but he was able to take Paddy down and control Paddy on the ground. And Paddy's got a good ground game, so he's dangerous down there, So it's one of those, if and when Saint Denis takes Paddy down, because he's going to try to take him down, how does it go and how much trouble does he get into? If Paddy can't put him in trouble, it's going to be a long fight for Paddy. If Paddy can put him in trouble and create those situations where he has to move, it could be a good fight for Paddy. So, like you said, this is a pick 'em fight. You can sit there and say that I think Paddy has the advantage. Okay, but I could definitely give a lot of advantages that I can see that Saint Denis has too. So it's a pick 'em fight in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm going to lean towards Paddy because from what I've gathered, the experience that Paddy had against Justin Gaethje sure didn't go his way, but I think he learned a lot about himself in that fight.
Sure he did.
He realized that he's a lot. I wonder if he had doubts. I don't think
he's
he had
a scouser.
Yeah. But I think he wondered if he was at that upper echelon of fighters. And I think he figured that out. Yeah. After seeing what Justin did to Poirier. I know MMA math doesn't add up, but he realized I took some big shots from him.
Oh yeah,
look like that. I looked beat up, but I didn't have to stop on the stool in the 4th round. I didn't have to those are all things that Paddy Pimblett's walking into this fight with going, I've got the confidence to do whatever it is I need. I can get this fight to the ground and be on top. I could try to keep it on the feet. Look, for me, I feel like Paddy needs to win this fight on the ground, but he needs to win it on the ground on top. He cannot win this fight on the bottom. I mean, he can.
It's going to be a hard place for him to get to.
But I think that he's going to be the one shooting. I don't know if BSD is going to be the one shooting. I think BSD is going to try to sprawl and brawl, keep this on the feet. He feels like he's got the heavier hands, which I think he does. And he's got the better boxing, which I think he does. But I think that Paddy Pimblett's a longer striker, comes from unorthodox positions when he boxes. And he's got heavy kicks. He's just got to avoid the big shot, Paddy does. If he can avoid the big shot and go ahead and set up his takedown, I think if he gets in that top position, I think he can control that top position really well and start doing work from that top against BSD. If you recall back, remember BSD's very first fight, John? I thought he died in there.
It was close.
It was close, right? I was wondering, why are we not stopping this fight? What is going on? I didn't think that was the type of fight where I didn't think a fighter could come back from and have success. I thought that changed his life. It didn't. He came back and had a lot of success.
Yeah.
But I look at Paddy Pimblett, he's the type of fighter that could get on top of him and he won't be able to get up from the bottom. Just transition after transition, some striking and transitions. And Paddy's a big boy too. So he's not a small 55-pounder. He's a big 55-pounder. BSD's not a huge 55-pounder, but he's a big size. He has decent size.
Yeah.
I just think that with Paddy's wrestling and ability to get this fight to the ground, I think that BSD is going to have his hands full if he's on bottom. I don't know if he'll be able to get up.
I don't think, I'm being honest, I don't see either guy getting up from the bottom. I think they're both going to have a hard time. They both have, they're not similar, but the way that their styles are going to mesh together, I honestly think it's going to be a really good fight. I think it's going to be action-packed. I think Paddy's going to be going after him. I know BSD is going to be going after him. And I really think that this could end before the 3 rounds is over. We'll see. But, and it could go both ways.
John, the next 2 fights, you got Cory Sandhagen versus Mario Bautista, Brandon Royval versus Loner Kavanagh. Let me ask you this. I feel like Mario Bautista and Loner Kavanagh, they're good fighters. They're really good fighters, especially Mario Bautista. But I feel like this is a real big jump up in competition for both of them. Cory Sandhagen, such a technician, so crafty on the feet, just so slick in his movement, everything he does. He is to me, I've always said, he's what was the wizard's name on not Game of Thrones? There was a wizard on the Towers movie? What was the
Lord of the Rings?
Lord of the Rings? What was that?
Gandalf?
He reminds me of like a Gandalf out there. He's so ahead of his time. He's got all the answers. It seems like, he's lost to some of the top guys, but like he's so good on the feet, so slick. And his takedown defense has gotten really good. Mario Bautista needs to get this fight to the ground. The reach, the range, the way that Cory Sandhagen stands.
Mario's going to have a very difficult time on the feet with Cory. You can take a look. Mario's he's got really good wrestling, and he's smart. He's a smart fighter in that he doesn't play into his opponent's skill set. He tries to take their skill set and make them fight the fight that's going to put them in their weaker areas, and he's done it before. The problem for him is going to be getting into Cory. Cory has gotten much better with his takedown defense, and you can go into certain fights to look at it. His stand-up is going to give Bautista problems. His stand-up is next level compared to Mario Bautista's stand-up. It's just as far as the techniques that he used and the way that his footwork gets him in and out and the lateral sides that he moves. He frames off. You watch Cory. Cory does little slick things where he'll sit there and a guy will come in on him to try to get him, and he'll frame off with his arm, bap, bap, and he'll hit with both because he doesn't leave the frame out there. He brings it back to use it as a striking instrument, and he just does things on his feet that are just slick.
Yeah.
I mean, just slick. He is absolutely a technician. Bautista, in my opinion, has the ability to get into him, to get the fight to the ground. Can he keep him on the ground? He's going to have to if he's going to get the win.
Yeah. Where I look at Mario Bautista winning this fight, he's got to fight him a little bit how Marab beat Cory Sandhagen. You've got to rush him. You've got to make him make decisions on the fly. You cannot allow him to fight you at range. He will piece you up.
Yeah, that's it.
He will destroy you. If you let him get comfortable on the feet, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
Now, if you brush him don't rush in, hands down, chin in the air, right?
That's not going to work well for you.
You've got to hit him with
he'll land a knee on you.
Exactly. You got to hit him with barrages of punches. You also, too, when he's getting up, make space so you can land your shots. And I thought that's what Marab did very well, is every time he pressed him to the fence and they broke, he flurried with shots. And Cory just had to cover up because he didn't know what to do. It's harder for tall, long, lankier guys to fight you in a phone booth because they've got to create more space to use their weapons.
That's right.
And in this situation, I think Bautista has a chance that way. I don't want to say any other way. I feel like he potentially could get a submission, but Cory Sandhagen is so good on the ground. He's gotten so much better since his loss a long time ago by submission. Yeah, like he's a very good. He's a great fighter. I'm not gonna say good. I'm gonna say he's a great fighter. He's a technician. But Mario Bautista can get it done. What I've learned by watching Mario Bautista, I'm like, oh, he's not that good. No, he's good. He's good, John.
Yeah.
And he's only gotten better over the last probably year and a half, 2 years. He's gotten a lot better. Not even a little bit better, a lot better. So love watching him fight. I love what he's done his last fight. Who did he fought? Vinicius Oliveira, I believe, is who he fought. Vinicius Oliveira is who he fought. And he made it look easy. I was like, damn, this kid's good.
That's because of what you just said.
Yeah.
He's that good. And he is. But in this fight against Cory, he's got to be grimy.
Yeah.
He's got to be just a grimy, nasty, in your face, putting pressure the whole time. That's his way of getting the win.
Yeah. Yeah, he can't afford to fight him how he fought Patchy Mix, just stand on the outside, touch.
Oh my God.
You've got to fight him a different way. You get killed. Yeah.
But he's smart enough to know that.
Yep. Brandon Royval and Loner Kavanagh, like 10-1, good fighter, young fighter, but Brandon Royval right now is just, he's right there. Can't quite get over the hump. Can't win the title. Just like, and there's so many guys, I think, like slightly ahead of him right now. He's right there at the top, but he's got to get a win. And then that win, like with Horiguchi falling off, and then you've got Pantoja coming back. You've got Manel Kopp now with the big win. Like, what do you do? Like, and you've got, if Brandon Royval wins this fight and he wins it in impressive fashion, oof. Like where do you put, how does Loner Kavanagh, let me ask you this, how does Loner Kavanagh get it done if he can?
To me, it's the same game plan as you have for Bautista. Brandon Royval is good everywhere.
Yeah.
He is good everywhere. He can strike with the elite strikers. He's got a great ground game. His wrestling ability is really good because he uses his length to his advantage. He uses wizards a lot. He does a lot of slick little moves. And so you look and you go, for Kavanagh to have a chance in this, he's got to be in a phone booth, and he's got to be in the middle of Royval. He's got to be grimy. He's got to be just nasty. Every little thing that he can do at any moment to create damage, to make Royval have to, defend, keep his mind completely off of, I can be offensive here. I want you in a position where you never feel comfortable. You cannot be, getting free and opening up with your length and stuff, because I think there's going to be a huge, difference as far as the length of Royval compared to Kavanagh. So Leonard Kavanagh, he's good and he's proven himself. Yeah. But this is a big step up.
A little too young, I think, still.
It's a big step up.
A little too young, a big step up. I agree with you. King Green and Terrence McKinney. Obviously, there's some bad blood going on.
I like that fight.
Bobby Green's been talking. He's like, look, this guy's been on my nerves, getting all the hype. Can't win. It's personal, it seems to be. So this is a fun fight, though, John.
It's a good fight. Terrence McKinney gets things done fast. When he wins, he's winning fast. Yeah. When he loses, the fight kind of goes, into that second round, and all of a sudden, the steam comes off of the engine there, and it's just not as much. But Terrence McKinney is an athlete. Mm-hmm. King Green, formerly known as Bobby Green, he's an athlete. He always has been, and that's what's made him special. Terrence McKinney is going to have some issues as far as the way Bobby fights, but Terrence has got to come out and be who he is. He's got to be that same fast twitch muscle fiber, explosive. You don't know if he's going for the takedown or if he's coming with the overhand right the way he does or anything. Mm-hmm. He's got to be that explosive guy, and he's got to catch Green as Green's got his hands down, because he's going to. That's just the way, King Green fights. But it's an interesting fight because, if Terrence doesn't hurt Green early and get him out of the fight, as that fight goes on, King Green has shown that he can fight into the later rounds. He doesn't like to, but he can. And I don't think that Terrence actually creates a big issue for Green on the ground. I'm going to say it equals itself out. And so it's going to be in the stand-up, and Bobby King Green is a fucking pain in the ass in the stand-up.
If Bobby can win the first round, if he can avoid getting clipped in the first round, he wins. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Like Terrence McKinney, has he even gone the distance? Has he gone the distance in the UFC? I don't think he has.
I don't think he has.
I don't think he's been outside the second round in the UFC. Yeah.
So
you don't get paid by the minute, man.
Hey, you got to look at, I know there's people who say that's the problem. It's a problem that he hasn't, because back here in the back of his mind, as that round's going by, is that a problem for him? If it's not, great. But many times, guys get that whole thing of like, oh my God, I didn't get him out in the first round. Oh my God, I didn't get him out in the second. I'm tired.
Yeah.
Some people rise with it, and some people fall. Yeah.
Why do we have Robert Whittaker and Nikita Krylov as the main event on the prelims?
I think because
former champion.
Yeah, but they look at it as I want to end my prelims with what would be in their mind a main event on another card, and that's what they're doing. And I'm looking forward to seeing how Bobby Whittaker looks at 205.
I agree.
I really am, because a lot of people are talking stuff. First off, Whittaker's fast, and he's going to be much faster than Krylov. He's got that about him. And the other thing he's got is, he doesn't slow down. He doesn't get real tired. He's always in good shape. And so Nikita Krylov's a good fighter. He's got, good techniques, but he can definitely be pushed to the point of starting to slow down. Yeah. And I think you can see Bobby Whittaker doing that in this fight if it starts to go into the later rounds.
John is 3-0, too soon to be in the UFC. You're Olympic gold medalist. Your name is Gable Steveson. Like, is it too soon? I mean, I don't think it is, especially in the heavyweight division, but
it's not, depending upon who they put you against. And that's really what it is.
Yeah.
I look at it, obviously Gable is a unique athlete. When I say that unique athlete, I'm saying it because first off, his wrestling pedigree is, top notch. It goes beyond, who's been the best wrestlers in the UFC's heavyweight division. Well, it's the best wrestlers have been Randy Couture, Kevin Randleman,
Cain Velasquez,
Cain Velasquez. You can put Mark Coleman in there also, but you're looking lately. It's been, there's not a lot that are good wrestlers. You've got Curtis Blades, he's a good wrestler. Josh Hokett, good wrestler. Look at man,
this guy's wild.
But he is in that position where Gable has, there's never been a better wrestler in the heavyweight division.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say it. As far as wrestling accolades, what he's done, you can take Cormier, you can take Lesnar, you can take Couture, you can take all of them. They don't match up to Gable as far as the accomplishments. So, of course, at 3-0, he's young. But you just put him with the right people that are going to be there, push him a little bit, but not overwhelm him with his lack of experience.
Yeah.
And that's really what it is. But he's shown certain things in his 3-0 fights. And the last one I'm going to give him, look, he got head kicked good. It was solid.
He wobbled a little bit.
He did.
Yeah.
Well, he's human. But, I mean, you look in the way he took it and then reacted with it and what he did, you go, all right, you're showing me you're not that guy that's now going to start backing down. And that's what I look for when a guy gets hit with a big shot at that, when he's never really been hit, because Gable had never really been hit. That was the first one you go, okay, that one hits you.
Yeah.
And I saw his response and I go, all right, way to go. You're showing that, you're that guy that can sit there and go, okay, yep, I felt it, but now I'm going to come and beat your ass. And that's what he did.
It's such a young career. You could tell, like, those moments are like your whole career flashes before your eyes. Like, I'm the guy. Maybe I'm not the guy. Wait, I got to be the guy again. I got to be the guy again. So I get it, man. Like, he's got so much, I think, right on the fact that he's an Olympic gold medalist. He's in the heavyweight division. He can out wrestle all these guys. And now what can he do on the feet? Can he withstand the pressure on the feet? Will the cardio hold up if he gets outside of round 1, round 2? Can he get into round 3? And as he shifts into potentially being a main event, can he do 5 rounds? Can he get to the title? Luckily for him, he doesn't have to fight too many times to get to a title shot, but he's going to need that time. So I believe they probably structured his contract around like, hey, you get 3 to 4 fights. Well, this is your entry contract, like a rookie contract.
Sure.
And we're going to give you some favorable matchups. We're going to put you on the Conor McGregor plan. Okay. Give you some favorable matchups. Most of the guys are going to be able to, they're going to stand with no wrestling, take them down. You can dominate, ground and pound, do your thing, right? Get your feet wet a little bit. But this second contract, if you want more money and you want to make into the,
then you're going to start fighting real fighters.
$500,000 range, $600,000 range. Guess what, buddy?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna have to get your feet wet. You have to go all in on this. So, for talking about high end wrestling, man, I just interviewed Kyle Dake, 4-time national champ, 4 different weight classes, and and obviously a 2-time Olympic bronze medalist. I also interviewed Kyle Snyder, Olympic gold medalist, Olympic silver medalist, and obviously one of the best to ever do it. And I just interviewed both of them. Those interviews will be dropping this week as well. They are competing this week, the same time as Conor McGregor's fight, unfortunately, but they are competing this week. Don't miss it. Kyle Snyder has a matchup against Sajulayev, and they
that's rematching.
So Snyder is 3-2 officially, but Kyle Snyder doesn't count the injury forfeit, which he's like, I don't count that. So it's 3. He's like, I'm 3-1. So, but I look, that is one of those matches I will be tuning in. I'll have it on one screen over here, the Raw Press, and I'll have the other screen over here on the UFC.
Paramount Plus and Fox Nation just going.
Exactly. So those interviews will drop this week. And I'm in the process of talking with Rose Namajunas. So get her on the podcast as well. And looking to talk with her. And I got a phone call with her coming up hopefully here soon. So we can set a time and a date and get that going as well. There's a lot going on, John. A lot going on.
But that's, that's the world of fighting, and it's good.
Yes. And by the way, next week, those of you guys, I'm going to be doing a couple little live things throughout the weekend. Next Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I will be in Las Vegas with Big John at his command course. It's already sold out, so you guys can't apply. Okay. But John, why don't you drop your website there so people can actually look and see when the next one's going to be, if there is already up there yet, and give me some ideas on when they can find it and when potentially the next one will be.
The website would be MMAreferee.com. You can go to that. We will be coming up with a date. I got to get past this one first, but
can't plan ahead, huh?
I'm not good at that shit. Probably at the start of the year, it'd be a course. I don't want to do more than 2 a year because too much goes into it, but we're going to have fun. It's
going to be fun. I mean, I don't think I've ever sat in a classroom for longer than fucking a couple hours. This is is it 8 to 10 hours a day?
Yeah, it is.
Fuck, man.
I don't have that. You got to figure I've got basically 3 days with, people to try to get them to understand. It's kind of like drinking through a fire hose. It's not easy. You're going to get a lot of spray back.
Do I need to bring a packed lunch?
You need to bring me a lot of things, to butter the teacher
for myself. Do I need to feed myself? Do we have time to go eat food and come back?
I give you a lunch break.
All right, I just want to make sure. I'm like, hey, if I got to pack a lunch like legit school, I'm in a lot of trouble, man.
We're in trouble, man. That's it.
All right. Well, hey guys, thank you guys so much. Hey, if you guys are tuning in right now to this, once we hop off of here, you guys need to head over to Fox TV and watch USA play right now in the World Cup. You guys got to tune in. John and I are going to jump off of here. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in, man. It's been a blessing. You guys have been awesome. I think we were averaging about 480 people watching at that one time, which is, it's really good on a Monday, especially. Tomorrow night, John Morgan and I are doing a show. It will be earlier tomorrow. We're going to do 5:30 because I'm going to jump over at 5:30 Central Time. I'm going to jump over at 7 p.m. Central Time to join Big Ange on his platform called We Want Picks. We're going to break down the fights there as well. So I'm going to do 2 shows back to back. I will be busy from 5:30 until probably 9 p.m. tomorrow night, just talking to you guys. So
breath mints.
Lots of breath mints. Make sure you guys. All right, guys, man, let's have some fun and make sure you guys tune in. Hit the bell for notifications so you guys know when the Kyle Snyder and Kyle Dake podcast drop. I want to let you guys know I will never do an interview with a guy with 2 people that have the same first name. I almost called them the wrong name. Multiple. It's Kyle and Kyle. It was like Kyle.
Little difference in size
when I was introing them, though. Yes, a little difference in size. All right, guys, I want to thank you guys so much, man, and it's been a blessing. Here is your lunch pack. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Got a $10 super chat from Alejandro Gutierrez. Thank you so much. And you guys, man, have a blessed day and go USA, baby. Go USA.
Go.